see, okay. I don't see who's not here. Steve, you're here. How
I'm
about
here.
Dave?
No, Ryan and Jamie.
Yeah, Ryan, I see Jamie. Is Ryan there? Ryan, are you in attendance? If we are, we can't hear you. So you're either muted or not there. Okay, well, we'll proceed. And we have a quorum, I believe, based on the people that are officially in attendance, and anybody else can join as the meeting proceeds. First of all, welcome to everyone for the meeting. This is an advisory committee meeting. We provide advice to the city council based on our wealth of information on operations of marinas and being boaters and so forth. And that's why we're on this committee. All the committee members are tenants of the marina. It's not an absolute requirement, just happens to work out that way. And most of us have been involved in boating for many more decades than we'd like to admit. We always start out with public comment, and public comment typically we limit to 3 minutes, and people identify themselves and then proceed on with that. We're going to change that a bit tonight because we have a presentation from the ROW group, which is the rowing on Whidbey. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So we'll begin the public comment with that presentation, and then at the end of that presentation, we'll allow for additional public comment on that topic and or questions on that or other topics, regular public comment. So with that, Chris, can you introduce the topic?
Sure. So it's an exciting time. I was recently approached by CC Aguda and Patrick McGovern regarding starting a rowing club in Oak Harbor. I guess the first time CC and I talked was probably 8 months ago or maybe even longer, I don't recall. So they're interested in starting a club that'll service both adults and children. It'll be structured much like Oak Harbor Youth Sailing Program. So tonight they're with us in the meeting and they have a presentation that they'd like to share with you. And then we can ask questions afterwards, and I'll be sharing my screen from here. So if we can just jump right into the presentation, that would be great. And then we can go from there.
Chris, is that tone? Is that additional people joining?
Yeah, I just clicked and admitted some people. Everybody who's not involved in the meeting should be on mute. So this is, hopefully you can see my screen, and this will be the start of the meeting. I'm not sure if CC or Patrick is gonna lead the way, but I'm excited to go through this presentation and hear about their program.
Okay, we turn it over to Rowing on Whidbey for the presentation.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you everyone for having us here this evening. Thanks to Chris for facilitating this conversation. And yeah, I just want to thank you all for considering our proposal. Yeah, we think this is a tremendous opportunity for the community in Oak Harbor and on Whidbey Island. Yeah, you can hop to next slide here, Chris. Thanks. I think Chris mentioned CC's involvement as the president of the organization. My role is sort of essentially as a facilitator, as an outside expert in the rowing community. I work for the, next slide, Chris. I work for the George Pocock Rowing Foundation, which is based over in Seattle. And the goal of the Pocock Foundation is to grow and diversify the sport of rowing in the Northwest. And yeah, especially for kids. We very much believe in the sport. Next slide. I think, you know, obviously everyone's involved in this group is incredibly passionate about the sport. We can talk for hours about the benefits of rowing. We've listed a number of them up here on the screen. If you're a fan, if you've read Boys in the Boat, or if you've watched A Most Beautiful Thing, you have an understanding or a sense of the power of rowing. If you've talked with anyone who's been involved in the sport for any length of time, they tend to testify very powerfully about the experience and about how it changed their lives. One thing that we recognize that the sport lands with a wide variety of people. And so it is a very inclusive, tends to be a very inclusive, lifelong sport. The proposal that you've read, and yeah, you can see some of these benefits, these documented benefits up on the screen ahead of you. Again, I think it just speaks really highly to the fact that this activity truly does change people's lives. I've been involved in this sport for 20 years as a coach and administrator in 4 different boathouses. And I've spent the greater part of my career hearing stories from individuals and groups of people about the opportunities that have presented themselves through the sport of rowing, about some of the healing, some of the empowerment, some of the friendship. That's just really the tip of the iceberg about what this sport can do for the people in the community. And honestly, it doesn't get old. One thing I also want to draw some attention to is that these benefits of rowing, they're not just for communities and folks that live in Seattle, Tacoma, Everett, or Bellingham. There are very vibrant rowing clubs in Bainbridge Island, Port Angeles, up on Orcas Island, down South Kitsap. Vashon actually has 2 rowing clubs. There's a rowing club in Paulsbo, also a rowing club down in Clam Island. And so, yeah, rowing is definitely spreading from the bigger cities to smaller communities in the Puget Sound region. And my position, being involved with all of these rowing communities, my position at the foundation, I recognize that there is a very unique situation on Whidbey Island for the sport to be well received. Next slide. I think Rowing on Whidbey is uniquely positioned to partner with a number of other organizations that are already doing great work in the community. I think one of the things that leads me to that conclusion, not just the location of the marina and the location of the program, but really the group of folks that have been assembled as the board of directors of this organization. This is a very well-connected group that, again, is very, very committed to seeing the sport grow, and they're committed to having benefits of rowing, having them accessible for participants in these other community organizations. And again, I think this really just testifies to the power of rowing, that these folks that are involved as the board of directors, that they're passionate about sharing this. It's not just something that they hold for themselves, but it's something that they want others to have access to. Next slide. Kind of mentioned a few seconds ago just about the inclusive nature of the sport. I think rowing, large part, rowing's had a negative. People had a negative impression of the sport as being only for wealthy folks, or only for sort of like they've been associated with like the Ivy League. As I mentioned a second ago, with the number of communities that have fostered these rowing programs, I think that really demonstrates that the rowing community is working hard, to change that impression and to be a truly open activity for people, in particular for a variety of socioeconomic situations. So I think one note that is very important, I think, to recognize is that we do have have an opportunity to kind of instill these values in the club from the very start, the very foundation of the group. And in my work, I can tell you that it's way easier to represent diversity, equity, and inclusion from the very get-go, rather than kind of form up a club that has an exclusive culture and like that. It's much more difficult to undo that than to kind of start off at a higher, more representative culture there. So next. And kind of chat about, I think maybe one before that, Chris. I think we might have gone through two. There we go. I think, as many of you know, being involved in other organizations, or even the stewardship of this facility, I think we all recognize that it takes a lot of effort to get a rowing program off the ground. So this is an idea that I was first exposed to in April of 2018. In fact, the first day that I met Cece, she mentioned that this was her vision, to have a rowing club on the island on Oak Harbor. She said it's a fantastic place to row, and that they're just fantastic, again, sort of the location near schools. And she said, believed very strongly that it is something that would be well received by the community. Kind of Cece's commitment to assemble this work group, it's to say that it's impressive is the least you can say about it. She's worked tirelessly to socialize this idea, to publicize the possibility, and just to speak passionately about it. We had a community meeting, I guess about 2.5 months ago, with 30, 40 people there that were interested in participating in this. Some of them had experience in the sport, and many of them had no experience, but there's something that intrigued them, and something that's very appealing. Again, I think at this point, having been meeting with this group and watching them in action, put together their vision, discuss their mission statement, assemble their bylaws, and start to put together the structure for a lasting, sustainable organization is impressive. Again, this is my work. This is what I do. I work with rowing clubs of sizes serve up to 1,000 people a year. So I have a really good sense of what it takes to manage a club, manage it well, and to manage it safely. And it's just really impressive. I put my full stamp of confidence on this group to be able to do what they say they'd like to do. I think next slide, Chris, please. Chat a little bit about the nature of rowing programs. Obviously, I think many of you probably have some experience in the sport, recognize that rowing is an after-school program for kids. Summer camps typically take place in the mornings. Adults, obviously, a little bit more flexible schedules. They can participate in the sport either in the morning or in the afternoon, the evening. Obviously, winter precludes many rowing clubs from being on the water regularly. Obviously, we're all water users. We recognize that there's certain opportunities in the winter months to get out and go rowing. And one thing that we are really clear about in the rowing community as a whole, rowers don't expect to have full use of the waterway on Labor Day, 4th of July, very high traffic days. The rowers are typically very work around other user groups on the water. And next slide, Chris. Obviously, as all members of the boating community, the sport of rowing shares the boating community's commitment to safety. Again, we're having worked with this group and shared best practices that the rowing community has all learned communally with the Rowing on Whidbey group. I can assure you that the group is incredibly safety conscious, and they are formulating a very stringent, very cohesive safety policy. I think that policy obviously includes everything from educating rowers on water safety protocols to ensuring that coaches are prepared to deal with any emergencies that may arise on the water. If this group has a very, very strong safety plan that, again, it's come from influences and best practices that have been learned over years in all of our involvement with the sport. Recognize that part of the education nature of our work is also to educate other users of the marina as to the nature of sort of what the rowing club is doing and sort of why their protocols are the way they are. And I think my final thought on this, the idea of safety, is that the rowing community in a lot of other locations very peacefully coexists with other water users. Think of places like Quartermaster Harbor, Eagle Harbor, the Snohomish River, Lake Union, Lake Washington. There's a wide variety of commercial users, pleasure boaters, aviation, and all manner of human-powered watercraft all share the water. So again, this is not a unique situation that we would have. Again, a wide variety of users in the same space at alternating times. So yeah, I think I'll turn things over to Cece to chat a little bit more about the specific nature of the specifics of how this would work in practice in the facility and on the waterway. So yeah, turn things right over to Cece here.
Hello all, thank you for having us. I am Cece Aguda. We moved here about 5 years ago, and I've been involved in rowing back in college in the 80s. And then locally, I rowed up with Whatcom Rowing in Bellingham and both Pocock and College Club, and Everett down in the Seattle region. Taking all that into consideration, Chris, if you want to go to the next slide. We've looked at the marina, and I've rowed there a number of times in my single. Pretty much all the pictures you see of the rowing are of me either in Oak Harbor Marina or out in Penn Cove. And the idea would be rowing shells are, they come in a variety of sizes from 1-person or 2-person shells, which are relatively short, to 8s and 4s, which are longer. And it's traditional practice in the rowing community, and it will be in our safety manual, that all 8s and 4s would be accompanied by a coach's launch, which is a motorized wakeless boat, which would accompany them not just for training, but for safety as well. So the 8s and the 4s would likely launch off the beach adjacent to the boat ramp, not off the boat ramp itself, and not off the boat ramp float, which has too high a freeboard to accommodate the rigor of a rowing shell. And then there'd be a straight shot out the mouth of the marina, which was measured by Chris's people at 73 feet wide, and the 8, which would be the widest boat, would be anywhere from 22 to 26 feet wide to accommodate the oars. So there's plenty of space to take the 8 out of the mouth of the marina, and being cognizant of the various different docks and the motorboats that would go out into that area. The coach's launch would accompany the 8s and the 4s and keep an eye out and honk horns if necessary. And then the singles and the doubles would be encouraged to launch off into the pond on the other side so that they wouldn't be going out the mouth of the marina. So those are some of the safety things that we've thought about. And we've also talked about a traffic pattern of staying out of the channel, going around the shore, either of the pond or going across to the north shore and going along Windjammer Park and off the west shore where it's super shallow and not in the channel. So it would be out of the basic travel pattern. If you go to the next slide. So there's everyone knows what the ramp looks like. And so as you can see, we've mapped things out. We've already acquired a rental of a shed, a storage shed, about 8 units up from the boat ramp, in which we would store the oars and some rowing machines and safety equipment, PFDs, megaphones, things like that. Next slide. You'll see in a little bit that the Pocock Rowing Foundation has secured for us some racks for storage of the boats. And when we talked with Chris within the last year, he pointed out a location over to the other side of the mechanical area that we could store the boats. And we went out and measured this, and this map is to scale. And so the racks would sit in there and the boats, and they would not impede the gate to the Mariner's Haven storage area. I think I showed the traffic pattern in the previous one. We're also proposing to install a little weather station with a camera so that it would show the ramp and the water, and this could be accessed by all marina users. similar to cameras that the Pocock Center and College Club have that show what the water conditions are and what the weather is as well. Next slide. Oh, I don't think you got this one, but Patrick, you got the pictures of the racks in here. I don't think they made them to Chris. But yeah, we have some racks that will be coming from Renton to accommodate the 8s and the 4s. So the slide you see up is the timeline for approvals as Chris had outlined them to us. Patrick, did you have anything else to add?
Instead, the racks are essentially industrial racks that currently store a number of rowing shells in an outdoor environment securely. They're like I said, they're storing equipment down in Renton currently. They haven't blown over. They haven't damaged the equipment. They certainly haven't damaged anything surrounding them. So, yeah, it's a pretty standard procedure to store boats outside.
I did want to also bring up that a lot of clubs in this region and pretty much everywhere I know of in the world that I've spoken to, they store a lot of boats outside. Most boathouses and clubs, rowing clubs, when they start up, they don't have a boathouse yet, and they store their boats outside on racks in the weather for several years before they can have a boathouse. So it's kind of standard operating procedure. And the boats would be secured to the racks so that they would be able to withstand the weather in the area.
Rick, if you want to email me that picture, I can bring it up on the screen.
Oh, yeah.
Good questions. Well, thanks. This is a pretty aggressive timeline, but I think we can meet that goal. Would you like to open it up for questions now, CC and Patrick?
Yeah, please do.
Okay.
So Patrick, this is Ken Hewlett with the Marina Advisory Committee. Patrick, what is your affiliation? Who do you work for?
Yeah, so I work for the George Pocock Rowing Foundation, and my current role, I sort of have multiple roles. Number one, I run the Pocock Rowing Center, which is 25,000 square foot rowing facility up in the north end of Lake Union. I run the Renton Rowing Center, which is down just at the mouth of the Cedar River. I've been working on facilitating the creation of the Kenmore Boathouse up in Rhododendron Park with the city of Kenmore, the North Shore School District, and the Kenmore Rowing Club. And again, just kind of hopping in here, facilitating with the rowing on Whidbey group and like that. So
the national body is U.S. Rowing. Are you affiliated with that, and is the new group affiliated with U.S. Rowing?
Yeah, for certain. Yes, we are organizationally, both of our organizations are member organizations of U.S. Rowing, which is, as you pointed out, the national governing body of the sport. Unfortunately, U.S. Rowing does not have the bandwidth to support grassroots efforts like this. And I think that's why that's exactly why the George Pocock Rowing Foundation came into existence in the mid-1980s. I think, you kind of really get a tribute to the true work of the foundation. In 1984, there were a couple of boathouses in Seattle, and there's like 30 or 40 of them in the greater Puget Sound area now. And a lot of that really came from the foundation. So I think this is very much part of our work there.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, sure.
Any other committee questions?
I have a question. This is Jamie Pagel. So I know that you mentioned that you guys measured for this space near Mariner's Haven, but has anybody talked to Bo or Mark to verify that when they actually haul out the space they need to pull out, it won't be affected?
The space they're talking about, and I can show you real quick, and maybe this will clarify things. I made a little slide. Let me see if I can find it.
Essentially, the space we're talking about is the space to the south of the oil storage tanks. And there's about, 40 or 50 feet in there between the tanks. and the fence for the Mariners Haven facility. Is that correct, Chris?
Yes, that's it.
And it's about
Okay, I thought it was coming out the other side.
yeah, it's about 70 feet or so deep, I
Mhm.
think.
Yep, 75.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Hey, JJ here. I would be more concerned with the area where you intend to launch the boats relative to congestion. That area, I know from example, because in your slide, you put a little bubble over my boat. I am at the very end of B dock, and I know how congested that area gets. And it looked to me like you're mighty close to the fuel dock. Chris, can you talk to the relative distances? And before you get to that, I don't know, CC, I don't know if you're from Oak Harbor or not, but you probably know that nothing in the city, oh, I'm sorry, the marina, everything that happens at the marina is the responsibility of the tenants. We receive no public funding whatsoever, no money from the city. So anything that happens there, we pay for. So, and that's something I would be very concerned about, adding more congestion into the marina. Don't get me wrong, I'm all for anything that we can get community involvement in, and I like the idea of this. I would be concerned. I would rather see if the proposal that you had put together said everything goes into what you call the pond. I would be fine with that. Bringing it into the marina and going out through the breakwater is something that I am personally concerned about in terms of size.
Right. So to your point, I do live in Oak Harbor. My husband and I have a boat on Sea Dock. So we are familiar. We are in C11. So we are also tenants of the marina. And the launching was actually to the south of the boat ramp, not on the fuel dock side. So between the boat ramp and the log boom. Okay, so that would remove from the congestion around the fuel ramp. So that's why I said it would just be a straight shot down along the log boom and out the entrance.
Like the dragon boat.
Right, unlike the dragon boats that launch over by the office and go past the fuel dock and past all the other docks and then enter the entrance to the marina. Our proposal would just launch right off that little beach there and go straight out.
The dragon boat is one boat that happens to be 2.5 feet wide. So, bringing that up was not very ingenuous. But
no,
anyway,
I'm just saying that they go past the fuel docks as well. So.
Yeah.
Let me make it clear too. We're considering this as an additional activity inside the marina. We're not trying to count it off against or compete with other existing entrances and uses of the marina. So what we're trying to talk about here is how we can compatibly, or if we can compatibly consider this as an activity within the marina. And the point that JJ made is well taken, that the tenants, the ratepayers, and you're a ratepayer on CDOC, so you understand, the entire budget of the marina is paid for by the boating tenants and to a small extent the users of the launch ramp. We're very sensitive to the fact that as a marina and an advisory committee, we need to make sure that the tenants that pay all the bills are the people that have the loudest voice in the room, just so you know.
So I'll answer JJ's question about how far would they be launching from the field dock. And I've never taped it off, but just looking at it, I'm guessing it's got to be somewhere between 50 and 75 yards from the field dock to the log boom. And then from the area where they're launching to the log boom, I'm guessing would be maybe 10 feet. From the edge, from the edge of the ramp to the log boom is probably 30 or 40 feet maybe. So it'd be well out of the way of the field dock and
yeah, Chris, that makes more sense to me. I didn't get that from the diagram in the presentation. I didn't see that in the diagram during the presentation. But that makes more sense to be on the other side of the boat ramp.
Yeah,
It makes a lot more sense to me.
yeah, it
Yeah,
would.
As I
So
say,
from
I
a
have launched
practical
on the other side, and
standpoint,
it's a little too crowded over there.
yeah, from a practical standpoint, since we're talking about the ramp area and so forth, there is a substantial amount of riprap in that area that you'd have to carry the boats over. And it's kind of life-threatening, frankly, getting down over those surfaces. So have you actually tried doing this?
Yes. Yes, and that's something that we would have to put in our safety manual about how to accommodate that that transport off the boat ramp into the beach.
Okay, just as a side point, are you aware that the Marina already has in its planning process and have made grant requests and so forth to reconfigure the launch ramp, which would include narrowing the launch ramp and steepening the approaches in that area? Did you know about that?
No, I was not aware of that.
I don't know that that'll affect you guys so much right
Shouldn't.
out of the gate, though, even in the future.
I'm just highlighting that as something
Yeah.
that they need to look into.
Sure.
Because, you know, that like most things in life, the devil's in the details. And the overall concept I like, and I agree with JJ that, you know, getting more people using the marina and so forth, or using the water is a good idea. But at the same time, we have to remember what our constituency is and those challenges in terms of competing uses. Because, you know, we know we already have problems down there during crabbing season and, you know, a few other events. And I don't want to exacerbate that by doing something that has unintended consequences. Any other questions from the committee?
Hey, Ken, I'd love to hear from Byron on this. You know, Byron's our resident expert on this stuff. If he's got some comments, I would sure love to hear him.
Sure. Byron, you got your ears on?
Yeah, yes,
Oh.
I certainly do have some comments. And it just for Cece and Patrick, just my background is I rode in the distant past for University of Washington for 3 years. And then following that, I was the head coach and director of the Green Lake crew for 4 years. And it is just as a sidelight, during that my tenure at Green Lake, we did host the very first women's national championship at Green Lake. I guess my biggest concern is I just can't possibly see. I can see maybe you can launch a single or a double in the area that you're proposing, but I see absolutely no way that you could launch a sweepboard boat, a 4 or an 8 in that area, getting around the riprap, launching on the beach and so forth. I'd like to see it done personally. I just don't think it can be done. The other thing is, I'm really surprised, Chris, if you say the entrance to the marina is really 70 feet in width. Is that correct? It's hard for me to believe that, because as I was coming through there last night, I was kind of trying to estimate how, and with a sweepboard boat taking up about 24 feet of beam, I don't think they'd have trouble getting in and out of there themselves, let alone if there was any other boat traffic. So that bothers me some. You know, I guess my biggest problem is is with the launching, which I just don't think is going to be possible unless you had some infrastructure like like an additional ramp down to the beach or something like that. And then there's the traffic situation. I have a boat on Sea Dock myself, and just like UCC, when you leave that fairway, very often there's another boat that's coming around the corner that's blind. You guys are good to honk your horn when you're coming out of there, but not everybody does that. And I can just foresee some problems with collisions or close calls with rowing shells coming out of that area. But anyway, that's those are my concerns. And then the storage. I don't know if you know some of the windstorms that we have here, but I'd hope your racks can handle some of the winds we get in the wintertime. They can be pretty fierce. Well, in the summer too, as well.
I can show you pictures of the racks now too, if you're interested.
Yeah, one thing I might also sort of add, is that in the vision of the marina users, the rowing shells come and go somewhat quickly, right? I mean, they usually take a few minutes to kind of get in and go, and then same thing, they kind of tend to marshal up and be off the water pretty quickly. So the volume of, I think we mentioned this in our proposal, the written proposal, we don't see the club, moving more than 50 people on the water at any given point in time. So, I think the vision that, that there's a sort of a parade of rowing shells that are in the marina 24 hours a day. I think that's, that's not I mean, in reality, there would be anywhere from 4 to maybe 6, 7, 8 boats launching at any given point in time, and kind of moving single file out of the congested areas to a calm, flat location to do their training.
I for one, Patrick, this is JJ here. I would love to see it done. I'm with Byron. I have concerns about space. I would love to see I'd love to see a boat launch there and see how it goes. And quite frankly, and I think if you're on the other side of the log boom and out of the marina fairway, I would have no problem whatsoever with that. But I would sure like to see an 8 go in the water there and see what happens.
On the other side of the log boom, there's even a steeper there's more riprap over there. That would be tougher. The other option where it would take some infrastructure, but if you launched on the north side of the marina, off the beach there, if you had some sort of a ramp down to the beach, that would be a possibility. And even if you had to store boats on that side of the marina someplace. But where you're talking about launching, I can't see it. And I would dearly love to see a rowing program on the north end of Whidbey. There's no question about it. I just think the proposal has some holes in it.
Thank you, Byron. The specifics of the proposal are pretty direct and specific. Do you have a plan B, and if so, what is it?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think, obviously we're in sort of a place where we're talking about two different things here, right? We're talking about the concept and, belief in the program, belief that this is a good thing for the community. And my sense is that, once we've come to an agreement that we acknowledge that this is something that our, essentially our children and grandchildren participate in, our neighbors, our students, once we come to an agreement on that, then my sense, my professional experience has been that, these other hurdles are solvable. So, if we're talking about, obviously infrastructure over water it can be incredibly difficult. But anyway, yeah, I mean, my sense is, this is a great starting point here to figure out what plan B would be, whether it's launch out of a different part of the marina or launch out of a different part in the cove. But yeah, I think at this point we do have a lot of eggs in this basket, to be honest with you. So.
Well, one thing that we need to mention as well is that the marina has a lease with DNR for the footprint that we have there. The space to the south of there's a fence down there that is the boundary between Mariner's Haven and the kind of the storage yard down there. The area to the south of that is either private property or on a DNR lease, or it belongs to the Navy. So we do not have jurisdiction to allow usage of that property.
Yeah.
And by the way, once you wade out more than ankle deep at like a zero tide, you're in some of the most god-awful muck you have ever seen in your life. You know, it's worse than quicksand because it also smells nasty. So, you know, the idea of walking a shell or any vessel, you know, believe me, through you sailing and some other activities, we've had to rescue kids and they got into the shallows and so forth. And it is a terrible, terrible environment because of it's very, very loose silt, and it's contaminated by organic material of all kinds, mostly, hopefully it's all aquatic organisms and so forth, but who knows what's living in there. But it's not a solid beach, is my point. So I know JJ made the comment and Byron seconded it too. I'd like to see it tried. You know, I'm not suggesting that we close our minds to this, but it's got to work. It's got to be practical. Otherwise, the alternative goes to contributing more to our congestion problems and so forth. And I'm not amenable to that sort of a thing as a solution. And by the way, since we have about 2 miles of shoreline, why the marina? Why does it have to be there?
Fit a number of criterion, and CC might speak a little bit more to this, but you know, the ability for outdoor storage for the equipment is, you know, obviously we're looking for storage and water access. Both of those elements need to come together.
Sure.
Making a location close to town, I think, is also pretty ideal. So yeah, CC.
The marina also has, well, the storage shed in which we can store oars and the PFDs and the safety equipment. And there's also restrooms that are there. And I mean, if we went farther down onto, you know, Windjammer Beach or farther south, we would need to find some storage along the shore there. And that they have just redone the whole shoreline. We just missed the boat on that one. Yeah. So the marina is already established and already developed versus trying to develop something new somewhere else. Now it's possible that in the long-term future, with enough community support, that the city might support the construction of a boathouse, you know, off marina property. The idea is that this is a way to get the club started and get things going, and get community support rolling. It may not be the long-term solution for the club, but it would be a way to get everybody started and get the community involved and the youth really gung-ho about rowing.
That is a fantastic point. That is exactly how the Everett Rowing Association began operating. You know, they began operating out of the 10th Street Marina, out of a shipping container, and then they sort of gradually moved themselves up to Langus Park, where they were shore launching, again out of an old storage shipping container. After I think 5-6 years of that, the city put in a dock and built them a metal boathouse, very cost-effective structure and like that. So, yeah, CC's comment there is 100% correct. You know, kind of get it started, and then this might not be the ultimate location, but yeah.
Hi, JJ again here. But so to answer my question, can we see this done? Is it possible?
I'd love to see that. I think that'd be great.
Well, I mean, how do we set that up? I mean, because people are going to ask, the city council will ask for our recommendation. So we're going to have to be somewhat convinced that, you know, we can successfully do this and not look stupid.
Right.
So let's find a way to demonstrate how this is going to work.
Right on.
So just a reminder of our timeline. We'd have to do that pretty quick, as May 26th at the workshop is where we make the next presentation like this. So, and then it would be on the city council agenda June 1st. for consideration of the facility use agreement. And that's the city's take on this, is the facility use agreement, much like Youth Sailing has with us and stuff like that. So,
Excuse me. Oh, go. Excuse me, Chris.
Yeah.
You don't want-
Go ahead.
I was just going to ask Cece, do you have access to a 4 that you could bring up here and try and launch some? I think South Whidbey Rowing Club has a 4, if I'm not mistaken.
We actually have 2 8s, a 4, and some wherries.
Really? Where are
yeah.
those?
They're actually being stored at Mayor Chapman's house in Coopville.
Oh.
We've had them donated to us by Watcom Rowing and the Pocock Rowing Center. And there we also have another boat donated by Station L Rowing in Portland, Oregon.
Well, how about bringing a 4 or an 8 up and showing us how you're going to launch it?
I'd have to have some, we don't have a trailer yet, so we'd have to have some logistical figuring out to do about that.
Plus the people.
And the people.
Yeah.
It's the same width as your boat. You could actually.
Yeah, Chair, can I go ahead and go? Blaine Oborn, City Administrator.
Yeah, go ahead.
I can speak to, I certainly appreciate the vetting here and the expertise of the Marina Advisory Committee and the people that are down there all the time. So I certainly appreciate that. Just from a logistical point, the next time you would go to council is the workshop. It's on June 30th, I believe, Chris. So with their summer schedule, we go into 1 council meeting a month. So during June and July, so there's some logistical issues there. I would suggest more vetting to give you more time before you go to council, because I think you really need I think it's best to have the support and work out the logistical issues with the experts here on the Marina Advisory. I certainly could work with you on Windjammer Park if that's an issue you want to look about. I didn't know if you knew that there was a primitive campsite listed on for canoeing down there towards Beeksma on the end of Windjammer Park. So, and then there is a boat launch there too. Doesn't get used a lot, but I don't know if you've been there. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so certainly alternatives to make this work. And I think we all agree that, I mean, just having you in the area and other activities using the water, I think we all consensus is that we want to work with you. And certainly if I can work with you outside the area of the marina that I have more jurisdiction over. Chris is the harbor master and that's his area around the marina, but being connected with the parks people and Windjammer, I can certainly work with you on logistics. We've never done anybody else over there other than the Arts Commission doing the wood projects there for the driftwood projects, but certainly it doesn't mean it can't be done. And I appreciate the kind of talking about how other areas have looked at it. And so I think that we all want to continue to vet this and to develop a win-win.
Yeah.
That'd be great. If Chris, could you share Blaine's contact information with me, and that can be our plan B, and we could start getting that set up.
Okay, let me understand for the committee's sake. Well, first of all, let me finish my statement. You know, I do not feel like the committee is in a position to modify our position just to accommodate the city workshop calendars and the city council. I'd rather have a good decision than a hurried decision, okay? And having said that, do any of the other members of the committee have comments or questions at this point?
Well, hey, this is Ryan Bradley. Yeah, I kind of agree with what you guys were saying. I think the launching is probably the biggest problem, and especially at low tides or not anything other than a high tide. I think it's safe to say that everybody would love to see a rowing club, but along with the youth sailing and all that other stuff, really the only feasible way to launch those, I think, during anything other than a high tide would be off the boat ramp. You're just going to add more congestion there when it comes to the crabbers and all that other stuff. So I agree. I'd be interested to see how it works, or, you know, even more so on the north side, like somebody suggested, because that hardly ever gets used at all up there. And I don't know what the feasibility is. If you could launch there, the north side seems like it would be practical too.
Yeah, the north side, if there is a way to attach a shallow freeboard floating dock off that side, then the boats could launch off the north side, because I know that channel is narrow, and then it's really shallow on that north side. And I originally had thought about the north side. College Club, I don't know if you're aware of this, down in Lake Union, uses a actual boat for their boathouse, and they actually tie it up to a dock, and they have to take it out twice a year to show that it actually works. And so one kind of thought was to have a floating boathouse attached to the or docked on the north side, and then that would be the dock. So that was something that we thought about, was the north side as well.
Thank you. Any other questions from the committee? So I think the takeaway at this point, it sounds to me, is that, and CC, I'm not trying to put words in your mouth, but are you saying that you are going to arrange a demonstration launch of a 4 or 8 shell at the Marina launch ramp location?
We will endeavor to do so. We just have some logistical things we'd have to work out for the boats and the trailer, and enough people to row it.
Okay, so at this point, you have a number of shells, as you said.
That's correct.
Do you have the launches as well, the safety launches?
We have one, but we need to make sure it's seaworthy right now. But yeah.
So I think where we're at, Ken, is I'll work with CC to set up the demonstration, and we'll go from there. I'm was hoping to get this on the May calendar, but I totally agree. Let's not rush this. Let's prove the concept and then go from there. I'd rather be safe and prudent than hurry and find out it doesn't work or something like that, personally. So I
And
think,
normally this committee takes a hiatus during the summertime so we can go enjoy our boats and our short cruising season. But I think we could certainly look to a June meeting at the earliest for a follow-up meeting.
yeah, and we have the ability for the remote as well. We don't always
Yeah.
need the video. It can be a phone call-in thing. And we know you're not going up to Canada, so you should have good cellular service wherever you go.
Yeah, we won't be very far away.
So I'll work with CC and get back to the committee about that, if that's agreeable to the committee.
Okay, I'm going to call kind of a wrap to this presentation at this point, and if there are further questions and comments, we would welcome those. There is a mechanism via email to present those comments and questions and answers and so forth through Chris at the Harbor Master office. So we're going to move on. We kind of took things out of order, and we actually didn't review and approve our minutes from the March 1st meeting. We didn't meet in April because we didn't have enough agenda items. So has everyone had a chance to review the March 1 meeting minutes and have any questions or additions?
I move that we accept the minutes as submitted.
Do I have a second?
Second.
I second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we pass. If I don't hear anything negative at this moment, I will consider them passed. And we'll move on to the project update. Chris, you're up for that apparently.
Yeah. Thank you, CC and Padrich, for giving us
Yes.
a presentation and all the supporters there. We appreciate your efforts, and I think we're going to get there. It's just going to take us a little longer than we thought, so I appreciate that.
Thank you very much, everybody, for your time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd
Uh,
like to, I'd like to leave you with the thought that we're not against the proposal, but we want to see that it's actually going to work in a very efficient manner. And, without taking anything away from the pre-existing uses.
Okay, Marina
thank you,
project
Ken.
update. You should have this in your packet. It's page 31 of 35. It's just an update. We have a ton of stuff going on behind the scene, even more complicated now. For those that you didn't hear, our fire main is ruptured, so we're working on getting that fixed. But just starting at the top, we have the beach enhancement, the stormwater runoff, and the shading reduction. Those were the 3 grant packages. The shading was canceled, and the beach enhancement and stormwater runoff, it's probably not likely those are going to get funded. It's kind of gone quiet on that front. We're still waiting though. Oak Harbor Youth Sailing Building, that is done. I routinely see people down there. I believe that has been donated to the city and the facility use agreement has been executed. So that one we can check off the list. We're working on the FDOC windstorm repair out there. That's an insurance claim from a couple windstorms. It's likely that work will start in, depending upon the permits. Permits are super slow right now. The window to work is about mid-August through January. So hopefully that'll get underway. And that's the same with the marina upgrade projects. Those are the Commerce grants. 400,000, and that's going to be replacing the pile hoops out there on FDOC, all of them, whalers along the main walkway, and cement on B&E docks. It's likely that the people that do that work will be doing the windstorm repair damage. They'll have the barge there and be able to change those pile hoops fairly quickly and fairly easily. So we're excited about that. Some of the
Do we have a projected budget for that, Chris? As far
for
as
the pile hoops, main walkway, whalers, and cement, we're going to use all of that 400,000.
Okay.
So, and then the storm damage is about 300,000. Yeah. The storm damage is an insurance claim. The first storm damage that occurred has a $5,000 deductible. The second storm damage that occurred has a $25,000 deductible. One was in 19 and one was in 20. So that's why the deductible changed. Some of the quicker kill projects we're working on, security cameras. Actually just had the bid opening on that. 4 vendors did submit packets. I haven't seen them yet, so I'll be meeting with our purchasing Sandra Place to go over theirs. And again, this is we're the first of the citywide effort, so we're excited to get that done. Wi-Fi, we're working on that as well. Before too long, you're going to see us running fiber optic cable out to the docks. Get that up. I hope to have that up. Gosh, I was hoping by the end of this month. I don't know if that's realistic, but we'll see. That's my goal. Once we get the cable run, what's interesting is it's not going to be Comcast Wi-Fi that we've offered before. It's actually going to feed off of the fiber optic that comes to the Marina office, part of the city Wi-Fi. And we're trying to make it hardwired. So we'll have antennas, access points is what they're called, on the north side of the covered moorage and on the south side underneath, and then out towards E-Dock and beyond eventually. So it's going to be so much better. We're really excited to get that up and going. One thing that's going to happen relatively quick, the next one, the entry card reader upgrade, was something I had budgeted for 2022, but decided why wait? So I was urged by some people to get this done sooner than later. What that is on the restrooms and laundry rooms, your white cards are going to work. No more having to remember a code. There'll be a keypad there. There'll be a keypad there for a code, but most of our tenants have their white cards with them all the time or their fobs. So that'll work in building 1 restrooms, building 2 restrooms, and in the laundry room. So we're really excited. We're also going to put a keypad on the main gate for our guests. And that's where we'll have keypads on everything, but the keypads are focused towards the guests and giving them an access code. So that actually, they're going to start putting that stuff in May 11th. And it's going to be done by Gateway Controls, and they're hoping to be done by May 14th. I think 14th, yeah, the 14th is a Friday. So really excited. I didn't want to announce that in the newsletter just in case something goes sideways. So we'll have an easy rollout of that. And of course, we'll program the keypad with the current number for those people that aren't sure what's going on. So that's really exciting. And then the last thing we're working on, it's not the last thing, but the last major thing we're working on is a Mariners Haven purchase. And all I can really tell you about that is we're performing some due diligence. I would like to cash in the committee on releasing information on that, and there'll be more to follow. We may have some sessions where we talk about that more. But right here, right now, I just want to let you know it is moving forward. We are doing some due diligence and working on some things that I'm not really at liberty to say right now. So, the fire main we talked about, and then
written up on the Mariners Haven?
What's that?
Has a contract been written up on Mariners Haven?
No, not yet. No. So,
is the city spending money on feasibility?
No.
Okay.
No. And that, it doesn't really, I think I know where you're going with the question. You know, you're a real pro at this stuff. I'm not. That is going to be funded by a grant from Island County as well. So, but we're not spending any money right now. We did spend roughly $20,000 of Marina money, which will get reimbursed a year ago on appraisal. So that was that. No, we're not currently even spending a penny right now other than our time, which that could be money.
Jamie, I appreciate you asking the question, because as Chris knows, I ask that question all the time about whether or not we have a contract price yet, because that's typically in real estate, as you well know, that's the starting point for everything.
Right, especially if you're putting down cash for feasibility studies.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So
Chris's admonition about keeping it confidential is a wise thing as well, because we don't need to muddy the water and make the property sound like it's more valuable than what it actually is.
Yeah. And just a last note on that, I suspect that all the committee members are going to receive a letter from the city attorney briefing them on this and releasing information and, you know, talking about it and stuff like that. So
kind of a confidentiality agreement?
Yes, kind of. Yeah. Well, I don't know if it'll be agreement between you and the city. I'm not aware that it will be, but more of just, you know, these are the guidelines here. And
okay.
Any of the nuts and bolts that we would discuss would be in a closed session or
Executive.
We got the appraisal back? Have we got the appraisal back now?
Yeah, I have that.
It hasn't been shared with the committee?
No, not yet.
Okay.
We can't do it in open session. We have to go into executive session. So you guys aren't used to it. Council does it all the time. But we'll have to bring you up on the confidentiality of that. And that'll give us a better opportunity without the applicant or the public knowing it's in the best interest that we keep our strategy on our side confidential.
Yeah.
Well, from a practical standpoint too, the commercial appraisal on that property is almost impossible to do because there are multiple ownerships and the operator has not maintained what you would call conventional financial statements and so on and so forth. All the elements that you would use for an income property appraisal are absent.
Ken, what
yeah.
I'm going to suggest for liability purposes is that
don't talk about that.
Don't talk about it unless we're in executive session where
Okay,
only,
okay.
it's only among the staff and the members of the committee. So that would be
Yeah,
my
that's
suggestion.
wise counsel. Okay,
That's
forget
why
I
we
said.
have executive sessions. So,
Um,
and you could be more candid.
All right.
in committee, please, committee members, please understand that it is our intention to keep you updated now that some things are happening and stuff, just not tonight, not right here, right now. So,
Yeah, Chris and I will be
You'll-
talking with Blaine about having an executive session fairly soon.
Yeah, it'll be agendized and you'll have to have a certain time and we'll walk you through the
Yeah.
motions. You're not used to doing it, but I'm very accustomed to doing it for council. So
Okay, but it's not a public meeting, correct?
it will be part of this meeting, but you'll have a section of the meeting where we'll go into executive session.
where
And
we'll
there won't be any public will not be allowed in the executive session. And it won't be recorded. The recording will go off.
Yep.
And then we'll be able to have confidential. And the attorney, like I said, he will say that you know, there's everything you receive and is confidential.
This is a project that when we get to the city council piece, I am 100% confident that the city council is going to ask what the Marine Advisory Committee's meeting or Marine Advisory recommendation is and expect probably some conversation from Ken or whoever the chairman at that time may be. So
Yeah.
Yeah, and the grant's coming from the county, so we will probably have to have some executive discussion with the county too as we work this through.
yep. So, but it's exciting that it's moving forward. So, other than these big projects, we have the day-to-day stuff going on. Day-to-day maintenance, pressure washing. We got the flowers in today. They look awesome. Just normal run-of-the-mill stuff. I would also like to add that we haven't met since we restarted Dick Smith. This is his 4th year with us, just a wealth of knowledge. And then we brought on a new summer worker. His name is Nick Halstead. He has a background in construction, handyman stuff. And he also worked with Duncan down at the Port of South Woodby for a couple of years. So we have probably one of the strongest marina crews right now that the marina's ever had, I believe, with the combination of all the experience and all that we have going on right now, and some great plans for the summer. And DACWA is amazing. I checked DACWA today. I was in the office and we have close to 75 reservations. That's not nights, that's individual reservations through them already, and it's only May 3rd. It's only going to get busier, plus the reservations that we take over the phone. We're not switched to DACWA 100%. I mean, you can still call us and make a reservation is how we do that as well. So things are looking really great. So with that, that's the major.
Just for the good of the order, the DACWA is an app that provides reservation type support for marinas and whatever else they do.
Yeah, it's an app you can log on. It's huge on the East Coast, and it's probably doubled or tripled in the number of marinas since last year here on the West Coast, Pacific Northwest. You can log on and make your reservations right there. It keeps your information, so you really only have to put your name, boat size, email, all that stuff in once. It charges you when you arrive at the marina, not when you make the reservation. So pretty neat for you boaters out there. You might want to take a look at it. It's a great phone app, really easy.
Yeah, I agree. I've looked at it and actually used it once, but okay, the Marine Advisory comments. Do we have any additional comments? We're running a little long, but we only get together once in a while, so have at it. Committee comments. Okay, not hearing any. Our next meeting is September 13th, unless we have an executive session meeting or some special meeting, maybe we might have a June, whatever the first Monday in June is.
You know, Ken, I would suggest, because we can do this via Zoom, that we continue to meet unless people are really objecting to that, because there's a lot going on. And then there's a lot, and I think Chris and the staff and the city staff could probably benefit from our comments on a lot of these particular programs. So I don't find this a burden to do a Zoom meeting, you know, once a month. I don't know. Does everybody agree with me or not?
I think if there's topics, that would be good.
Yeah. If there's no topics, of course not. But
Well, how about Steve
if there's agenda
Jamie?
items, we should do it.
Yeah, so Steve, Jamie, Ryan, anybody, Dave, if he's out there, anybody have comment about that?
I'm sure good with it.
Thanks, Steve.
I think it's fine.
Yeah, and I think it's totally appropriate too. Like you say, if we have stuff to discuss, it's certainly worth getting together, and by Zoom, it doesn't really put anybody out that much.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to suggest that we go ahead and schedule a first Monday in June meeting, and then we can fill it in from there. Is that, you know, is that okay with everybody?
Yeah.
That would be June 7th, looking at my calendar on the wall here. I'm fine with
Okay.
that. I fully expect the row to get back to us, and that'll be a great discussion point. And then we can see what else comes down the pipe. I can always update you on all of these projects. It's good you guys are aware of these. As you're walking the docks, you know, you can, with the exception of Mariners Haven, feel free to share this information. You know, there's a lot going on. So.
Okay, will do. And as far as the ROW people, we'll just wait to hear back from them as far as when or if this demonstration launch is going to take place. I'd like to see them launch and maneuver out the marina, turn around, come back in and put everything away. Is that kind of what everybody had in mind?
Maybe they could even get Byron to row if they need people to row, huh?
Oh, he's pretty old, so. Well, I could help you in the boat, Byron.
Yeah, if you're going to have a quorum, then we just need to agendize it in advance, but it's just a 24-hour notice.
Yeah.
Too hard to do. And
Oh,
it's a fixed
I forgot
location.
about the open meetings thing. So if we just randomly get together down at the launch ramp, that's still a public meeting?
Yeah, if you have if they have 3 of you, you're 5. So you can do 2 and be okay.
Okay. Well, we'll have a couple
need
people on
4
JJ's
times.
boat to watch. So
Yeah.
no, we'll do it right. Okay. Before we adjourn, anything else? Okay, we're going to call this adjournment, and thank you very much for your comments and your attention and your time. And we'll see you all same time, same station, I guess. Well, same time, not same time. Same station on June 7th. June 7th. That's
June
the plan.
7th. Yep.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Okay,
Thank
good
you,
night.
guys.
Yeah, Chris,
Good
if
night.
you can hang on a second
Yeah.
when everybody's out.